With the rise in the cost of living in Nigeria, many Nigerians have turned to some loan apps to save them from hunger. You can call these apps loan dolphins. The advert of these loan apps are friendly and the loan application process is pretty straightforward. The applicants are excited as they close in on securing the loan to meet their most pressing needs. But it's only a matter of time before they realize that these loan apps were loan sharks disguised as dolphins. Let's take a look at the increase in the loan apps in Nigeria and steps taken by the federal government of Nigeria so far. I'd like to welcome you to MarketSquare. My name is Oluwapelumi Awe, your host. I'm glad to have you along with me tonight. In September 2023, about 37 loan applications were barred by the Nigerian government and delisted from the Google Play Store. You see that on the screen right now. Now, these loan apps were found to offer outrageous interest rates and unethical punishment to defaulters, including blackmail defaulters and declaring death to all their contracts, all in a bid to pressure borrowers into paying back. In March 2024, the Nigeria Data Protection Commission said it was investigating over 400 cases of privacy breaches involving online loan apps and noted that investigations have revealed that loan apps are overly intrusive. There is also an ongoing request by the National Data Protection Commission to place a ban or restriction on mobile numbers found to have been used by lenders to breach the privacy of their customers. According to the CBN, the surge in consumer credit in August 2024 increased by 32.15%, apparently caused by rising inflation and also due to the increasing popularity of loan apps. On the other hand, the federal government of Nigeria some months launched the Consumer Credit Scheme anchored by the Nigeria Credit Corporation with what looks like a more friendly interest rate compared to what the digital lenders currently offer. Let's dive into this issue tonight and have a good conversation on the subject. My guest tonight is an economist. He's been here before and is here at this time. Please welcome Dr. Taiwo Akinlo. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for coming again. So according to the data from the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission since April 2023, the number of approved digital lenders in the country has surged by 79.77% from 173 to 311 in September 2024, which reflects the rising credit appetite amongst Nigerians. I believe this rise of digital lenders should be disturbing, or is this normal? Is this healthy for us economically?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah, we might not be able to answer that question now, except we subject it to empirical studies.
Okay.
As an economist now, we cannot just conclude maybe it is healthy or against our economy. However, it can be in two ways. It can help the economy and it can also serve as obstacles to the economy. I will explain.
Okay.
For instance now, I don't need to tell you that we are experiencing high cost of living in Nigeria now.
Sure.
And majorly now, particularly the salary earners, the salaries cannot sustain people anymore. People need additional income to survive. Things are very high. They want to pay the school fees of their children. They want to go to work and they still want to maintain their standard of living. However, their income cannot satisfy them now. So they need additional income. So two things can happen by demanding for credit. Okay. Number one, some might be demanding for credit to start business so that they can, at the end of the month, they will have additional income so that they can maintain their standard of living and living a better life or to meet their expenses.
Okay.
So that can be one way. And that one is good. When we talk about borrowing money for investment, that one is good for the economy because it will generate employment and then tax to the government. In other way, if they are borrowing money on consumption, that is where the danger is. If people are asking for credit for consumption, that means they can't save anymore. And if there's no saving in the economy, there will be problem. So if they can't save and they are now borrowing money to consume, then that one is not good for the economy. So that's why I said until we subject it to empirical study, we might not be able to conclude. So if people are asking for credit for starting for investment, that one is good. But if they are asking for credit for consumption, that
Consumption.
one is not good for the economy.
Okay. So you've spoken about the fact that if they are requesting for loan because they want to invest, you would say that's a good thing to do. But if they keep requesting for loan just to consume, then that's the side that is not so fair. Now, according to the CBN, this has coincided with about over 300% year-on-year increase in personal loans, meaning that more persons have borrowed in the last 1 year. And this year so far, the inflation figures has risen. You saw the one for the month of September. Also, the price of foodstuffs in the market has also risen significantly across the country. And apparently, this must have contributed to the increased borrowing by Nigerians. What are the other factors you think may have contributed to the increased borrowings by Nigerians so far? And if you have more persons who borrow just to get foodstuffs, then I think we're heading towards a very difficult time. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, no, the reason why we are experiencing high demand for credit is because of the economic situation in the country now.
True.
High cost of living, high inflation is affecting everybody. And presently with this level of income, people need additional income. And where are they going to get it? Salary earners, those people that don't own any business, they are depending on their income. And that income cannot sustain them presently. So the best thing they can do now, the free they can do, is to be borrowing money. So that's exactly why we are experiencing high increase in the in credit demand now. So it's because of the economic situation, high level of inflation.
Okay. Now, also, I think I did ask a question about the fact that we have more loan apps, more lenders coming up every single day saying they want to give people money, and then at the end of the day, they tend to deal with them, blackmail them, sometimes even curse. There was a time I got a message from a strange number saying, "Tell this guy to pay. If not, we're going to kill." And it was a lot to say to me who didn't even borrow money in the first place. So let's talk about the way the government has been approving apps, loan apps. Would you say that that has to be checked because you have more loan apps showing up every day for Nigerians to be able to borrow money from them? So would you say the government has to check how they approve these loan apps to operate?
This loan shark is an individual or organization that lends money at extremely high and illegal interest rates.
Sure.
Those people, they are just capitalizing on the economic situation, the condition of people to offer those loans. They offer it as a soft loan, and people see it as a way of getting very easy loans to cater for their needs.
Mm-hmm.
But unknowingly to them, they don't know that it's just like a trap for them. It's just like a trap. And these people, they are after the interest rate. And we should not forget that they are operating outside the law.
Mm.
So that is exactly what gives them the ability to be charging exorbitant interest rate and then using of threats and intimidation to get the money back if those people they are unable to pay at the stipulated time. So it's very easy to operate in that way because they are operating outside our law. And that's where I'm expecting the federal government to come in to regulate. If they want to give them access, they must bring them under the law, financial regulations, so that they'll be able to monitor the activities of these people. Because some individuals that actually obtain loans from them, they might even end their life because they can't pay and they are going through a lot of stress and intimidations. And we should also forget that the terms of law are even unfair to the people. People are getting this loan because they don't have choice. So in order for those no shark, in order for them to be fair to the people, I'm expecting the federal government, if you are giving them access to operate, then you must be able to subject them to the law of the land so that they can monitor their activities. That's the way I see it. I
Okay.
cannot say maybe the government should just, ban them totally. But if you are granting them license to operate, make sure you allow them to operate within our regulations, banking regulations.
Okay, now I know if we were to cast a poll online to ask people if they want the government to ban these loan sharks, these loan apps, you have more persons who say they don't want the government to ban because we have seen some persons who, for instance, a person wanted to pay his or her school fees, and then person got money from this loan app to pay the school fee, and then that was what rescued the person at the time. So I connect to the point about the fact that the government may not totally say want to scrap them. But again, so I think in cases like this, we talk about regulation. We also talk about collaboration. We also talk about competition. So you've mentioned about regulation, that the government should regulate them. But again, the government has now launched a consumer credit scheme to be anchored by the Nigeria Credit Corporation, which is designed to offer credit facilities to working citizens in the country, which is a competitive approach, if you ask me. So would you say this is a ray of hope in this hard time?
Yes, it is a good idea. That policy is a good idea, but the problem is implementation. That is the problem we normally have with all these policies introduced by the government. No, they have a good idea, but at the end of the day, most of these policies will not see the light of the day because of poor implementation. Now the question is, how many people will have access to that credit at the end of the day? Let me give you as an example. Now, I'm a civil servant now. I have been hearing that the federal government is sending bag of rice to civil servants for some months now. But in my place here, I have never seen anybody that says I'm able to get one. We only hear it on the news, on the newspaper. But when it comes to having access to them, we don't even know where to go. We don't know what they are doing. We don't know how those people are getting it. So we only hear about it, this paper thing. So my fear is this. Though it is a good idea, a good development, but the problem is implementation. With people, and then with that, no schemes meet the needs of our population. So that's my fear about it.
Okay, now the first phase of the scheme is tailored to cater with civil service members, which you mentioned you're one of that, before extending to the main public. So far, the scheme has received up to 3.5 billion naira. And so how do you see this impacting the flow of loan requests directed to these digital lenders? I think the government has made this call, put up this initiative so as to disrupt the flow of people going to these loan sharks to get money from them. So how do you see this impacting the flow of loan requests directed to these loan sharks and digital lenders?
Yes, if the scheme is functioning very well, I'm very sure people will prefer it to this loan shark, because they know that the federal government will not use threats, intimidations to get the money back. And I believe that the interest rate will be more lower than that of a loan shark. So if the scheme is functioning very well, I believe people will prefer it. But like I said the other time, are we sure that people are having access to that scheme? That is the question we need to answer. So if people don't have access, up to today now, I'm not sure I know how to access the loan. So I believe that's exactly what is even happen to majority. So if they can make it very easier to access, like all this loan shark, people will patronize it. So let them make it available to people, and let them make it very easier for people to access. Then it will impact the economy and impact people positively.
Okay, well, now you mentioned it very beautifully that the way people apply for loans from this loan shark, they make it so easy to do. So you put in your name, your picture, your email address, your account number. Within next 15 minutes, you can get 100,000 out of a loan app. And at the moment, I think the government may need to toe the path of making the application process to get loans even easier. But again, let's wrap up with your candid advice. That you already started by saying the government should make it easier for the people. You mentioned about implementation, but what are the other things you could say to the government to ensure that, number one, they are able to address the issue of loan sharks, taking people for granted in Nigeria, and then also for the new scheme that the government has put in place to compete with these loan sharks?
My number one advice is that the government should allow these individuals or organizations lending money out to operate within the law in our society, within the banking regulations. They should be able to monitor their activities. This one is even important to know money supply and money demand in the economy. You know, those things is very important to contain inflation. If the central bank is making effort to control inflation, and we have some organizations and individuals that are working outside the law, how can they contain inflation if they are not monitoring their activities, if they don't allow them to operate under the banking regulation? So they will not be able to achieve their objectives. So if the federal government is trying to reduce money supply through the central bank, and then we have some other organizations that can release money to the economy anytime, any day, so the monetary authority will not be able to achieve their aim. So that is why it is necessary for the federal government to ensure that those loan sharks operate within the banking regulation. And like the one I said the other time, the scheme from the federal government, please, they should just make it very easier to access. Like the way it is very easy to access the loan shark, let them make it very easy. Just go online, fill your form, provide the information needed, and then you get the money. But it will take me like almost a week, 7 days, with all manners of stress before I can access the federal government loan scheme, then I will prefer the one I will stay in my house, and then I will be able to access within 1 hour. So accessibility is very important. Federal government should make their own easy to access. That is the second advice I want to give. And then the government should check this issue of threats, intimidations. They should tell them they should employ other measures of collecting their money back from the people, rather than to be using threats and intimidation. And they should also monitor the interest rate they are charging. So that's my advice for the federal government.
All right. Regulation. Also make sure that the scheme by the federal government is accessible. Also ensuring that the interest rate is fair enough for the people, and also monitor collection of the money given out. Thank you so much, Dr. Akinlo, for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you so much.
All right, then, to you viewers, thank you for staying tuned. Do well to follow us across all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, to get updates every time we post a video. Do comment on this video and let me know what you think about this. My name is Oluwapelumi Awe. See you on the next one.